Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm Mario.
And I'm Peter.
And he's
Adrian.
And you're
Michelle.
Oh!
No, I'm Ariel.
and we're guys that listen.
Let's go.
On today's episode, we got the whole GTL fam here.
Yo,
it's
the
our
crew's
end of the year
here.
episode. We are, gonna talk amongst ourselves, give thanks, talk about anything we want. Guys, what do you want to talk about?
No,
Okay,
let's
first,
get into it.
I really like these chairs because we're just swiveling.
I know.
All right, let's fill in the viewers about
Let's
the
a
chair.
little
Oh
fun
yeah.
fact.
Let's talk about these chairs.
So we got these chairs back when we started. Was it what? June?
June.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
June.
you said February.
And they
Oh.
lasted maybe a week or two.
Yeah.
And one day, Peter went to the taco truck and
Oh my God.
he ate so many tacos. He came back here, sat on the chair, and just.
Don't even listen to this guy. It's not true. It's because the chairs are like $10 each from Amazon. That's why they broke. To be honest.
No, honestly, you know how we had like 3 guests? There'd
Yeah.
be one extra. I never sat on it in the back.
Oh really?
Never. I just put it in the side.
Well, I'd always look and I feel out the good one. I'm like, okay, the good one goes to the guest. Then I feel
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
second to worst one, get that one for myself, and the worst one to Peter.
Yeah. Peter's like balancing act
Yeah.
on his.
I was able to swivel before you got these chairs. That's how good they were. But it's been what, like half a year?
So I think we started in August. That's when like the first video released. But then
Okay.
yeah, we're shooting in like
June. right?
June.
Yeah.
Yeah. We shot like what, like 12?
Yeah,
12?
we shot a lot.
Yeah.
in like a month and a half or so.
Yeah.
And
Back
that's
to
when it
back.
All in
started.
broken
we had a
chairs.
solid 12.
Yeah.
Back to
Everything
back.
was just like build as we go. Every part of the
It
process.
was.
It still is.
Still is.
Yeah,
still is.
Still learning.
Yeah.
Always growing.
We actually, painted this whole. This was not the color. We did the floors,
Mhm.
painted the walls,
Yep.
cleaned up the fucking windows and everything.
Yeah.
Ariel got the plants,
Mhm.
the
Yep.
accessories. We got cups now. Look at this shit, man. This
Yep.
shit's tight.
Oh my God, I never got to talk about like the centerpieces before.
Okay,
Mm,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Okay.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
This is
Okay,
this is
okay,
your
okay,
moment.
What's up? Okay. This is rice. So I don't know if it's just like certain cultures or anything like that, but if you move into a new place and then you have rice in it, it's uncooked obviously. So rice and then some money. So I try to make like a $1 piece show, but that's it, and everything else just moved around. But there's some money in there, but basically it's just like to bring good luck and stuff like that. And then this one's been replaced twice, right? Twice?
Yeah.
Do you guys know?
Yeah, it's
Pop
twice.
quiz.
Twice.
I'm gonna go with
How
twice.
many times?
It is twice.
Twice?
Yeah, 2 times.
Honestly,
I'm
I
just
didn't. I thought it
following
was the
them.
same plant the whole
Right?
time.
The first one
Oh,
died.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't even notice.
Or
Did you guys know this was real?
I did not.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Just
Because
by
the
looking at
first
it?
one was real and it looks exactly like that one.
Did you know this was
I
real?
could not tell.
Yeah, this one's pretty good.
Is that one real?
Is this one real?
No, that one's fake.
See, I knew the
Really?
first one was real because it died.
This one's fake. Yeah, I put some black sand and then some little aquarium rocks, and then yeah.
See,
That's
Ariel's
it.
the set designer as well.
Not really. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all black.
She got
But
all this right here, the
Yeah.
plants, everything.
this is from Daiso. Shout out
Oh,
to
Pretty
Daiso.
nice.
yeah.
I think also the plants here are very nice.
Yeah.
We've at least everyone here has dropped that plant at least once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That plant too.
one.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it.
No, and yeah, we'll get better at all these things too because obviously, like we got the sign after what the 3rd episode, right? And
Yeah.
and even till now, we still haven't painted the string
Oh, we
black.
need to
So
paint
if,
the
if
string.
you guys get annoyed by it,
Okay.
Shout out to the YouTube comment that told us about it.
By
yeah,
Jay-Z.
for real.
Yeah, no, thank you. We appreciate the
No, seriously.
criticism. We're gonna fix it just
It
for
bugged
you.
me too. I even hammered a nail into the wall, just to keep this line straight.
Damn.
This whole operation's on its last legs.
we want to quit
What
before the end of the year. Actually, this is the final episode.
Thank you for joining us on this journey, guys.
No, I mean that's cool because like there has been a lot of growth, right? I feel like with everyone here,
Yeah.
like everyone's contributed so much,
Mhm.
and we've picked up on a lot of things that we need to improve on. Everything from the sign, the way the table's set up, to the mics. If you guys notice too, the mics are a little bit shorter now. They're not kind of like zigzagging everywhere, but it takes a while because what a lot of people don't know is we shot 12 episodes before we released like one.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about shooting like a batch group of episodes, right? Is that you air it and all these people give you all these like criticisms on what to fix, but we had already fixed it by like the 3rd or 4th episode,
Yeah.
which hasn't aired yet.
Yeah.
But they don't know that there's like 8 more episodes of things that we haven't fixed,
Yeah.
right? So it's hard because we're not fixing it as we go because we hear about it way later after we're done.
It's hard to hear it.
Yeah, it's hard
Oh,
to hear.
no, I
Yeah,
think it's hard to hear.
How would we know though? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like because like, let's say there's something on the 4th episode, but we already shot the 12th episode. That
Yeah.
errors
Yeah.
be there for 8
Yeah, he's saying
episodes.
like, it's like hard to like hear it because he's like, I already fixed it.
Yeah.
Stop telling me.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, it's already
I
done,
know.
bro. Like someone was like, oh, you should do something about the black background. It's so boring. I'm like, we got a neon sign already.
Did you still want those vines up across or like some greenery type
that's
thing?
gonna look tight.
That would be
Yeah,
cool.
it'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
We could do like a grass wall.
It has to be fake because that shit is gonna die.
Yeah, that's just gonna die, dude.
If
I'm
we-
surprised these plants have survived. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, they've been doing
Especially this one.
good job.
I picked. Oh my god! I picked the ones that would not die.
Yeah.
Ish. This one for sure.
This one's not doing bad. This one's not doing bad.
Needs
Yeah,
some
this one
sunlight, too.
surprised
We should
me
probably water
because I
them.
knew it.
Yeah.
needed
Yeah, I
sunlight.
do. I water them every time.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh,
Whenever
okay.
I come in, I water them.
With
What?
water,
Yeah.
right? Not
Yeah.
Like,
Water.
okay, just making sure.
Are these your first plants?
My
or
first
have you
plants?
had plants before?
No, I've never had plants before.
Wow.
I got into plants this year too, but it's probably because of this, to be honest.
You know when I picked those up, I got him a small one, like a little baby one.
A
Oh,
snake
really?
plant. Because
A s-
I was like, it's
like
gonna
this.
die on me if I don't get a snake plant.
Guess what we named it? he named it.
Adrian Jr.
I'm not that.
Oh,
Atkins?
tell me.
Atkins.
Yeah, Ekans.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah, like
pretty
the Pokemon.
The lighting is
Yeah.
like crazy now. Well, I mean, it's still a work in progress.
It's still a work in
Yeah.
progress. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got some videos are like perfect lighting, and then
Dude.
some other ones are just like, what the fuck? They're not the same.
Yeah,
So it's like hard to even figure out practical like
yeah.
the
I mean,
the lighting.
we've got everything to work on. You know, even
Yeah.
like I feel like our sound's gotten better. Even though
Yeah.
we're using like the same mic,
Mhm.
but I think the way the edits have been. I know you use a couple apps to kind of
Yeah.
like take out
Yeah.
all the rest of the buzz sounds.
Yeah. Because I had to figure out really the audio interface, and then I also the software I use had a new update where it just increases the volume for dialogue, and then it can reduce background noise. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that actually helped over time.
Yeah, and even
Yeah.
you switched your software. You went from Adobe
Yeah.
Premiere to DaVinci.
DaVinci is sponsored, dude.
Let's bleep out both. Like we don't want them to get any clout.
Yeah, I switched over because I mean Adobe's just expensive, like subscription wise.
Yeah,
It's like $53 a month.
bro.
And
it
then
is.
DaVinci is like the full powerhouse in one. On the free version too, you can like do everything on there.
Yeah.
But I just bought the studio version because like one-time payment and you just get to go with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of growth in all aspects of the
Yeah,
process for
technical
everybody.
aspects.
Yeah,
the
a lot of
place itself.
technical.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of growth in just like us being here as like hosts and like the producer and
Yeah.
everything too.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken a while because for me, I have to like rewatch the clips now to like
Mhm.
make reels out of it.
Yeah.
And the growth comes from me looking at myself and Mario too, and I'm like, oh damn, did we really just say that? Or do that? It's like our choice as hosts to kind of like pick out what we want to improve on.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's difficult if you don't rewatch yourself.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I drink a lot on this show, if you guys
Yeah,
can tell. And it makes it really hard for me to be mindful of what I'm doing or saying.
Yeah, you can reflect a lot when you just rewatch the old footage. You'll start to see like, oh, what the fuck? I like talk like that, or I
Yeah.
sound
Oh,
like that,
yeah.
or I say things like that. Because sometimes you'll think you said it one way in your head, and you watch it back, and you're like, what? I did not say that.
I
Yeah.
noticed that too, especially when like I'm doing the text, the
Captions.
auto-generated captions,
Mhm.
and I'm like, damn, me and Peter say like way too much. We're like, oh, like
We
this,
do.
like that, and I'm like, oh,
Like
I
what?
do
all right. And it's like, damn it,
Yeah.
I said it.
I do too.
I wonder if there's anything we've done well since the beginning, though.
I think everything's improved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything's
Oh yeah,
improved.
everything's improved.
But like, it wasn't bad to start.
It wasn't
Yeah.
bad to start, and I
No.
think we've gotten better with our flow, especially with
Yeah.
guests. That sometimes
Yeah.
like we don't know exactly what to like. Sometimes some guests aren't as natural talkers,
Yeah.
Mm.
and you and I have to kind of like push and pull a little bit to get the flow started, and I think we've gotten really good about that. Sometimes when you run out of a question to say or your conversation ends, I'll pick up on that, and then likewise I'm like, okay, I can say my part here, and then it goes back to you. And we try, and the best ones are the ones where we've had guests where like, okay, it's an even flow, we're asking, and then they ask us something too, and we get a chance to talk. I think the perfect amount is like our guest talk 70%, maybe we talk 30%, because at the end of the day, we want the show to be about the guests too, but we want a little, we are here to listen, but we want to say a little bit too.
Our input's supposed to matter somewhat, I would think.
Yeah.
So it's gotten better. Even picking guests now, we've gotten better at that, right?
Oh yeah.
Why do you guys say that?
You said it. You said it.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Yeah.
But you said it. So we've had one
You're
guest.
gonna say it?
This might not make Adrian can edit it out.
I don't even think he watches our podcast, to be honest. That's actually one of our strict criteria now. When people ask to be on the podcast and they've never seen it, that's a red flag.
Okay.
At least just the clips. Like I don't care if you've seen an episode,
at
just
least
watch
the
a highlight
clips.
or
Or
something.
research before. Say
Yeah.
yes and then do your research a
Yeah.
little bit.
So I actually had someone DM me like asking to like, he's like, oh, you do podcasts? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, he's like, oh, like let me get on, right? And I was like, can you name the podcast you want to be on? Which one? And he said, oh, there's more than one, right? Because I don't just do like this. Like I have my own, and then I have like other people's that I actually work for. It's kind of like a trick question too, because mine is not running right now. The other ones I'm not editing for, So it was like you couldn't even name it. If you can't even name it,
One?
why the hell would I want you
No.
on?
You could have just gone on your tagged photos
Yeah, no,
and like.
honestly, you didn't care enough to do that.
Not even taking the effort to look,
Yeah.
like you could even just try to click and look and then lie to me like, yeah, this one, guys that listen.
He's like guys who listen.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not that. Isn't that interesting, though? Because most of the time people want to go on is because they want to tell their story.
Yeah.
But what story kind of matters what platform you're doing it on, right?
Yeah.
If we're like a AA show, you know what I mean? You're not going to go on and talk about like your career and shit like that. You're talk about how, being a alcoholic has changed your life.
Yeah.
Right? Shit like that.
I think also maybe because the name, guys that listen. So I think a lot of people come here to be listened to.
Oh.
And that's why a lot of people come here like that are chatterboxes or, have a lot to tell.
Yeah.
So it's kind of naturally inclined for them to just go off,
So we're like freeform therapy.
It is.
So
I'm gonna add that to our bio, freeform therapy.
I'm going to ask you guys this question.
Unlicensed therapy.
Unlicensed therapy.
Do you guys think that the people who go on and they have no idea about our show, like we do have a couple guests like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that they perform better because they have no expectations? Or do you feel like the people who they have this expectation and they're like, I'm going to come in, say this, and this. Do they do better?
I think it's been both. I think we've seen both ends of the
I
spectrum.
think so too.
Yeah, we've seen people who like have no idea and they do great
Yeah.
because there's no expectations. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I'm just here to talk. We'll have
Yeah.
a great time. Like, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And there's people who come in here and sometimes they may be a little rigid and like try to stick to a script.
Yeah.
But we've been able to like, pry a little more, get them loose, like, be personal.
Make them
talk
feel
about what you want.
comfortable.
What's funny is no matter how much we tell the guests what we're about, because like they come in, we kind of let them know the spiel. Right?
That's a spiel.
It's kind of like, oh, we're going to freeform at the very beginning. We're asking you to talk about yourself. And then we're kind of going to dig on what's interesting. And sometimes it might be really personal.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, okay, sounds fun. And they'll sit in the seat. And they'll be like, whoa, okay, these guys are digging. After all this, I feel like we have a lot of room left to grow. I'm curious as to what it would be like a year from now. But you guys have been with us since the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Adrian's been here every single episode pretty much.
Yeah.
And Ariel, pretty much the same thing when she's not busy.
Yeah.
But what have you guys noticed has changed, especially like at least the most? Like, do you think that's going to carry us the furthest, or things that I might need to work on?
I mean, of course, the hosting abilities, right? It's not just hosting, but it's also interview.
Yeah.
I think you guys are doing your best to really see where you can improve on each time. I think each guest also teaches you something different, like things you didn't think of, like screening your guest or how to take command of a conversation, So a lot of the things I think will just come with time. And then you'll both really get into a place where you just have so much confidence in the ability of like hosting and interviewing. Because it's like almost like a Tonight Show kind of skill, right?
Yeah.
You have a guest on, You want to make it comfortable, make it fun, but you also have to make sure that you navigate and direct the whole conversation. But I think that's just something you get over time, you know.
That makes sense. In case you guys didn't know, though, next year we plan on having Adrian as a third.
Really?
So, yeah.
I didn't even know this.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it a couple times. Yeah. I think that's the way to go for next year, and I think they'll add an extra like dynamic, because Adrian usually sees things behind the camera, and he notices it when we don't. I think it'll be a good perspective to add on to the show. Yeah, personally,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be different. So we gotta make a clone of Adrian to run the cameras now.
So and then you actually, if you're gonna be on, you actually have to contribute to your paycheck now too. So.
He pays himself.
I pay myself. I'm dead.
That'll be funny.
You did great, Adrian. Here's a raise. And this is also apparently a job application.
Yep. Now please apply for GTL.
The cool thing is though, like I feel like this has like gotten you more work too, right? Like it's connected you to different like people and be like, oh yeah, I want to work for me. Yeah, I want to do this.
Dude, a lot of so much networking with a lot of people that I would have never met before, you know, because these two know a lot of people. And not just that, like working with a small scale production like this gave me a lot of new skills that I, you know, needed to learn, like lights and cameras, like multi-camera setup, you know, and audio and just so much more wires and stuff to behind the scenes to work with. But just the network of people that have come in as guests, you know, they see what goes down here, they see how good it is. Then of course, you know, they either pitched me or I pitched myself. Like, you guys need an editor or something?
I've heard that.
Yeah. And it's just been great because I'm now getting like a bigger clientele, and it's nice because, you know, I don't know where it would have gone if I stuck with my channel, because, you know, it's just a one-man show, a one-man band. But which is also the goal ultimately later to go back to that, you know.
Yeah.
Because that is where my passion started and what got me into the career. Yeah. And I'd like to come back to that too.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, how many episodes have we done?
So I just checked. It was 21 released officially.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
21 released, or something like that. And then I looked online that 90% of podcasts fail by the third episode. Or they quit.
In what way?
They just quit.
Oh.
They quit, which is failure. They quit. And then after that, 90% of those past the third episode quit by the 20th episode.
Oh wow.
And
we just barely made it.
This is our final episode.
So that puts you in the top 1% that are still actually producing.
Oh wow.
That doesn't mean you're the top 1% in like terms of like engagement and all that, but there's now only about a small amount, and that's your competition.
I think we're on a good roll, and to be honest, it wasn't that smooth starting. It was difficult at first, right? I don't want people to listen to this and be like, oh shit, these guys just got it, they just keep on going and releasing it. It took a while. The starting was probably the hardest part. Right, we always like bickered with each other about starting dates, how many episodes we need to like have in the queue before we started.
So what did we learn though?
There's a difference of opinion here.
Okay, for me, I think I learned that there's no such thing as perfection.
True.
And a fire under your ass is better than no fire at all. So personally, just starting is like probably the biggest thing for me that I've learned from this.
I learned that you need to prepare before you start. And you need to be able to have a good foundation before you light that fire under your ass. Because if you light a fire and you don't have, you know, this metaphor is talking about fire, we're building a little campfire. If you don't have the wood there, you got nothing.
See, that's funny. Very polarizing.
Yes.
And then you got me who's actually done it. You know, with my channel, it took me years actually before I even started. I was just always researching, because when you start, you know, like a podcast or anything like that, you have to be all the jobs of a production. You have to be your own PR, your own marketing, you know, your own producer, your own editor, your own sound engineer and everything. But, you know, I was learning a lot about, I mean, PC culture was like on the rise too. So you have to really watch what you do and what you say. So it took me years to even be like, all right, I want to start now. And it took me until 2020 to start, you know. Ooh. And that's when I started, and then I stopped. But yeah, I'm more leaning with Mario on like getting a really strong foundation, and so that you have a better direction of like where you want to take it and like what you're doing. But also you do need to just start. You
Yeah.
really do need to just start because you're gonna always give yourself excuses of like why you shouldn't, you know.
Mhm.
So it's a balance between the two. Like start, but you gotta take calculated risks, you know,
Oh yeah.
and like really move forward with the intention of growing. Because if you just start and you don't really like think about where to improve on all aspects, then you're gonna fall short and be in that 90% who stops at like episode 3.
I think there's
No.
important lessons to take from both. You know, I
Mhm.
think we both learned enough from each other and
Yeah.
all of us together to like, you know, this next year we can like really improve on that stuff.
Mhm.
Like I think we need to start scheduling a good amount of people,
Mhm.
have it for the month, have a solid, like, you know how we had those, like, we had that 1 month, we had like 10 guests or something.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy.
There's like 3 in one day, right?
Yeah, we did. We're never doing
Yeah.
that again, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
that
don't
was
know how you
brutal.
guys did that.
wait, what was the lesson that we learned about having 3 in a day?
Don't do it.
Don't
Why?
drink too much.
Wait, by the third one, you were like super drunk.
second one?
Second
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. The third one was just like hanging on for dear life.
Yeah. To be fair, I was already drunk when I got here.
Oh,
So.
really?
No.
Yeah, because I had been drinking all night,
I'm
not
and I was on
surprised,
shrooms the night
though.
before,
Oh,
and I drank
wow,
with
yeah.
Adrian
In the
before
morning,
I came here.
in the morning when I went to get him, there's like him, Joel was there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was like,
Mark was there.
I was like, fuck it, you guys want to just drink?
Stop.
What was your idea?
No.
So
The
you did
night
it.
Yeah, it was.
before-
Adrian's
No,
the that input.
So,
The night before was his idea. I just came and was like, hey, let's continue.
Yeah. It's
Because
just take
I
a couple.
thought we would have needed it because it was 3.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh, I fucked up.
it was your fault that you
I
guys
got the
early.
talent drunk.
Oh
so
man,
funny.
yeah, that was
Damn.
brutal. That was brutal. Third episode.
You really
second
did
episode,
that.
you guys were like, "Yo, you're slurring hell a lot." I was like, "Fuck." And the third episode, I wasn't even trying to be coherent. I was just trying to make sense somewhat. You know what I mean? Like I just wanted to formulate things that like the guest could have a question to answer.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it wasn't too bad.
No, it
Seeing
wasn't.
it.
No, it
now
wasn't.
I know my limit.
Yeah.
Just one night of drinking and partly in the morning. That's
Yeah,
it.
and one
Or
one
maybe
two
we could do
guests.
3 guests if you don't have a night of drinking.
That's true. I think I could power through 3.
Well,
Do you want to
because-
do 3 again?
I would like to.
Whoa.
I mean, I
Really?
like to get as much done at one time,
Mm-hmm.
just because that gives us all these episodes that we have there.
yeah.
And it's less of a like every week we're like, okay, gotta do the reels, gotta do this, gotta do that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I thrive more with organization. I'm like, hey, like I have other shit that I'm already doing.
Yeah.
So it's like if I can get done our reels done like a week beforehand, and we just have scheduled times and everything, that's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so much easier for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I have work, you know, I have
Yeah.
other stuff to do, and I'm
That's
like, okay.
true.
Then I'm like, okay, gotta do this, gotta go back to that, gotta go
Yeah.
back to this. I'm like, okay,
Okay, so I was saying that like reels,
you good.
like posting reels is like organizing and doing all of it at once
Mm.
is definitely like the optimal way to do it. But doing 3 interviews in a day, I don't know if that's the same because
Yeah.
Maybe
interviews.
2.
Yeah, maybe 2. And the reason I'm saying that is like reels, if you just perform the task, it'll always come out the same.
Yeah.
But in an interview,
point.
like you have to kind of be at your best behavior, right? Like
Yeah.
you gotta perform, you gotta ask people these questions, kind of have to be sharp about it. You can't just do it all day because it does get draining. It really
Yeah, it
does.
does.
Yeah.
It's not as simple as like going on and just talking about things. Like
Yeah.
it people think it's like that, right? Like don't get me wrong, it is easy for a while, but especially if you have tough guests, then it becomes a little bit more like mundane. You're like, oh
Yeah.
crap, how do I pull
Yeah.
the most out of this person that I possibly can? Or did I forget to ask them something that I thought was like critical to ask this person, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those things slip your mind when you just like run on fumes, I guess.
Yeah.
Because for me, yeah, that was 3 interviews in one day, but my night didn't really end. You know, my night blended into my day that
Yeah.
day.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it was definitely more rough for sure.
Yeah, and also we've learned too, like you two do a lot better with a little like beer or liquor in your system. It gets the flow going.
Yeah.
You know?
That is true, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You guys like got a better flow with it. So knowing that, when you increase the guest amount, you also have to increase the intake of alcohol, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you want to balance it.
You're right,
So
you're
like
right.
maybe the cap is 2 guests, but
Yeah.
you never know really.
We could
but-
try it.
We should do what the streamers do, like a 24-hour marathon thing.
Oh
Oh
where
my
it's
my
like,
god, I don't
we
know how
could
to
do- you know
do
what'd be cool?
that.
if we want to
Yeah.
do some shit that's kind of crazy like that, we should do one at like a house party. And we have a
Oh,
a table,
God.
sit down like this.
That'd be-
and people just
oh.
go in and
Dangerous.
out.
Okay,
Yeah.
that would be pretty sick.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be
What
kind
about
of cool.
how
right?
the sound work?
The
Yeah.
mics are actually pretty good at blocking out
Okay.
like
Yeah.
on the,
Yeah.
but like you said you did a 24-hour?
Fuck no.
Oh.
That's hard.
Yeah.
I can barely do 8 sometimes.
I mean, I've seen.
You know, we
someone-
get so many guests done like that though. Like you have one
Yeah.
guest from like the party come in, we talk for like an hour, blah blah.
Like,
Like
it's crazy when people
have another
do
one
that.
come in.
Someone's like
Yeah.
out of their mind streaming.
you could sleep on stream too, because that's an actual category.
Sleeping.
Sleeping on
I've
stream.
seen it.
Oh, sleeping on stream.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think we would have to be good-looking guys for people who want to watch us sleeping on stream. You know what I mean?
no. There's some ugly like dude who like does it, but he has like an alarm thingy, so people who watch him sleep can like pay money to like press his alarm
To wake him up.
to wake him
Oh
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that
I seen that
TikTok
on
live.
TikTok.
Mhm.
You pay
That's
money.
crazy.
You pay money to send certain things like alarms and stuff.
Damn,
Yeah.
I already have like basically
Yeah.
insomnia. So.
Man, nobody wants to hear you sleep, Peter.
That's true. That's
You
true.
need to go get your septum fixed.
Do you guys snore?
I do. Huh?
Do you
Go ahead.
snore?
Oh, a little
You've
bit.
never seen the story?
Yeah. Yeah, sleep apnea.
Who's worse?
No,
Oh,
no,
but you have
No,
sleep
it's him.
apnea.
Yeah.
You can hear him through walls.
I'm sorry.
It's like
Yeah.
Whoa. Do you use anything for that?
No. Adrian gave me a CPAP. I actually tried to set it up the other day, and I looked at it. It's been so long since I've set it up.
Yeah.
There's a spider web in it.
sir, no.
All right, you need to give that back to me.
I was like, oh shit, I have to clean it out. I was
Good
like,
thing you
fuck.
look.
I was like, oh shit, where'd the spider go?
Oh, you guys want to? Do I want to
do
tell
it,
the
do it,
story?
do it, do it.
You guys
What?
want to hear something nasty?
Just
Don't
do
talk
it,
to
bro.
you like
Like-
that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not
You
one
want
of
me
your
to
hosts.
switch? You want
Mario.
to switch class? You want to sit closer?
So, there, when we first moved into my house, we would always leave our backyard door open.
Yeah.
Because our cat really liked to go outside and hunt, and he'd bring stuff in and everything. And he'd always just like he needed to go outside. He was like he's half feral now. He's a lot more indoor, but
He's
we needed to
wild.
leave the door open for him because he wouldn't come back. And he'd come back at 2 a.m. We'd be looking out for him and everything like he wasn't there. But what ended up happening too is like bugs would come in from the outside. You know, you'd have like through our little screen, like the opening is this big.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it's a huge, but you'd see like a little more like stuff, like a little
Yeah.
spider and whatever. And one night, I was sleeping, and like, I just felt like I was having like a nightmare, and it was like through my body, like something was like
Oh,
crawling
God.
and like all over me, like if there was like kind of like worms inside my skin, and just
Whoa,
like
what the
dude.
you know, and I felt it like on my face,
Like a meth, like kind
And-
of symptom of.
Oh,
like a
yeah.
method.
and I remember I waking up. And I feel it like on my face, and I grab it. And I'm like, oh, and I felt something on my hand, and I throw it to the ground. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I turn on my light, and I look, and there was a fucking cockroach.
Oh.
And I was like, oh God.
dude.
And I was like, I went, killed it, boom, threw it out, took a shower, took a nice long fucking shower, closed the backyard. And after that, I was like, you know what? The cat's not going outside anymore.
Damn, no, that's gross. I remember, yes, we saw a cockroach like at my house. I haven't seen one in years,
Yep.
right? But we just got like new like furniture, or not
Oh, yeah.
handed down furniture. And I was like, okay, it probably came from that stuff. And it was like we were like 3 a.m. I'm like walking her to her car. I'm like groggy, and I'm like, I stop in the middle of the hallway. I fucking see it. I was
Oh.
looking for that shit. Like the one cockroach doesn't bother me, and I'm like, bam, like loud as fuck. I don't give a fuck. That thing needs to die now. 'Cause it could fly too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you guys all scared of cockroaches?
I'm not scared of anything, actually.
You're not scared of anything.
I'm not scared of anything.
Are you scared
Yeah,
of dying
right.
alone?
No,
Whoa, what?
really not.
You're not scared of anything.
I don't think so. I don't
That
have a-
reaction you
Oh,
had.
you know what? You
What
know
about roller
You know-
coasters?
No, I love roller coasters.
Me too. Can we go?
The only thing that I can think of is maybe like deep sea ocean. Like
Oh,
I'd be
yeah,
like a little
yeah.
scared to go out there. I'm like,
Dark.
ooh. Yeah, I just die in the cold and
Okay,
dark.
yeah.
I was reading this thing about rogue waves, and rogue waves are basically like these waves that are
Oh.
gigantic waves, more abnormal than the normal waves. And it basically, if it hits your boat, it's gonna sink. You know,
Yeah.
the most modern boats.
Yeah.
Out of all the 25% a year, I think boats die to rogue waves, and then you have the opposite, which is called a rogue hole.
Yeah.
So imagine, I think maybe like 90 feet of ocean, like it's just like this is the ocean,
Yeah.
and then it just dips down,
Oh.
and you just fall
Yeah,
in.
and they
Whoa.
die.
It like sucks you in.
It doesn't even suck you in; it's
You
just
just-
there,
You
and you
just
just
fall
fall
in.
in.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's
So maybe the
sick.
ocean. With people, I don't have like a phobia. There's something that really creeps me out.
Oh.
I caught
Oh, that's interesting.
another one again because of my cat, and we were leaving the door open. He would bring fucking mice home, and one of them got away. And I remember I was dating someone at the time. We came over, and then I come over to my house, and then my cat comes in, and we all see him, and like he has the mouse in his in his teeth, and we try to catch him. He lets go, and the mouse runs away, and I was like, babe, you gotta help me. We gotta catch this mouse. So I got a fucking like oven mitt, and then we're running around. He goes into my room, and I was like, pull up the mattress. So I have her push the mattress up, and I see it, and it's on my little like the wood frame, and it jumps. And I swear this is a true ass story. It jumps from the from the wood frame. And I catch it midair with the oven.
Okay, Jackie
swear.
Chan.
Are you sure?
I swear. I swear.
I believe it.
Catch him midair, and I was like, got you. I was like, you see that?
Wow.
And then I took him outside and let him go.
Would you have killed the rat?
Oh no,
By
those
hand?
are
No,
too
you don't want to
big.
kill rat. They're big.
No.
There's two.
Yeah.
It would
No.
feel way more gross to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I've had hamsters.
Yeah, it would feel really fucked. I've had to euthanize a lizard before because my.
Oh, what?
Yeah, because it's like my cat.
Oh.
My cat caught a lizard and he let him go, but he ripped his whole stomach open, right?
Oh,
and the thing is alive, and I'm like, okay, dude, like I can't leave this thing
Yeah.
to suffer here.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Wait, how
you know,
did you euthanize it?
I grabbed like a razor knife and I
Oh.
got the lizard and I was like,
Oh, okay. I thought you
You
were
know?
gonna be like, I just stepped on it.
no, dude, I cut off the head because I'm like,
Mario
you know
the
what?
Executioner.
And it's like, you guys know I love animals. Like, it breaks my heart, but I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
this thing is going to suffer. There's no way a vet is not going to do anything for this tiny
Yeah.
little,
Yeah.
one of those like garden lizards and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
I thought that. Okay, it's just the tail that grows back,
Tail goes
Yeah.
back.
but not
No,
the
no.
not the
No,
rat.
no, no.
Not the head.
Dude, no. I could see it's
With a
like
hand?
insides, like they were out and stuff. So I'm like,
Oh.
it's gonna be here suffering for a while. I'm like, I gotta just help him out. Just like,
I had a pet gecko. I remember I used to have it in this area, like not, I guess, kind of like a tank where you could go into like the water here and there because it needs to be like wet most of the time. And then it's one day I was playing like Counter-Strike a long time ago, and I looked and I was like, oh, it's not in here. Like, I wonder where it is. And then I had like this shelf right on top where my table is. And I was like, oh, I forgot what my gecko's name was, but I was like, oh, Mr. Whatever. Like, I grabbed him, put him back into the tank, and he's completely solid. And I was like, oh my God, he dried out. He like died.
oh, what?
Yeah.
fucking
I guess someone took him out of the
way.
tank and like left him outside. And
It was your sister,
I think it was my sister.
Oh,
just like the
no.
chickens. Have you talked about the chickens before?
No, I don't think I've talked about
Did they lay eggs?
Yeah.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
ate them?
Huh?
Did you ever eat the eggs?
My dad did, but yeah, my pet chicken died too because
Oh.
a long time ago, I don't know, we were kids. My sister, what she said was she thought the chicken was cold. So she grabbed the chicken and put him in the microwave and turned it on.
Oh.
But she didn't tell anyone. So like, when I went to go microwave my food, I was like, I opened it. I was like, oh, Clucky. I grabbed him.
No.
He was just like frozen.
Oh.
I was like, oh fuck, he's dead. And I was like, who the hell put Clucky in the freaking microwave?
So you asked that after you grabbed him out?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
when you opened it?
Well, I think I more had to ask because
Yeah.
he died. I was like,
yeah.
oh shit, who the fuck did this?
Yeah.
Versus at first, like if he was alive, I'm like, okay, well, we all put him
I
in the
guess he's
microwave.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's alive, like whatever's like
Yeah.
crazy prank. But but when I realized he was dead, I was like, oh god, what
Wait,
the?
so like, how
Who
long
put
did
Clucky in the
she-
microwave?
How big is it?
It's a small chicken. It's like a
So-
forest chicken, so it's like really
A
skinny.
forest
I could pick it
chicken.
up.
Yeah, it could like fly and stuff.
Oh, wait,
Yeah, yeah. Like it'll fly over to. It used to be like super independent, so it'll like fly away from like my house,
Oh.
and it'll come back into the backyard here and there. And it was like my dad's like favorite pet.
Oh.
Yeah,
So like when she put it in the microwave, like it froze. You said he was like frozen, or
it was just stone
It
cold,
probably
like
like
stiff.
died from
Stiff.
radiation.
Yeah.
stiff. Wait, no, but you don't know who did it.
Oh, it was
Oh,
my
it was his
sister.
sister.
Oh,
It was my
Yeah.
sister.
She also killed the gecko.
The gecko.
I think there's a trend here.
I think also my hamster. Yeah, she put my hamster in
she
like
might
a
be a
sock.
serial
Tiffany,
killer.
right?
I mean,
Tiffany?
everything she did, she didn't know. She was just like curious.
Yeah.
I think she didn't really
Aw,
understand because she
she
was
didn't
young,
mean
young.
it.
You know,
Wait, but they're all animals.
they're
Yeah.
all. I mean, I'm still alive.
Dude, she
so.
sounds like
That's,
Dexter.
Yeah, that's the first sign of a serial killer.
Yeah, that's what they say, right?
Yeah.
What was our segment? Would you support your kid if he was like a serial killer?
Oh
Or
yeah,
something? Would you
I
support
you
your
said
sister?
you would.
I
Hell
would.
no, fuck no.
Turn her into the cops.
I mean, if he was Dexter, that's different. He's like killing bad guys. You know what I
Would
mean?
you
I'll
If
do
killing
it.
animals, no.
Would I support him?
Like if your
Fuck.
kid was a serial
I'd
killer.
support my kid to be a
I
serial
couldn't
killer.
stop loving him, but I'd be
Yeah.
like, you gotta go to jail.
Yeah.
You gotta
Really?
go.
You
Really?
Got,
You
you got
gotta
to
go.
You would like turn over
Yeah.
your kid.
Well, if I'm what if they turn me, or like, what if they kill me? It
Well,
could switch up like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no, that's
I'm
true.
I don't think it switch up on me. That's the thing. That's why I'm.
How
like,
do you know?
That's what
though?
everyone
Because
thinks.
he's fearless.
Sometimes I love you so much, they'd be like, I'm gonna put you out of your misery.
Yeah,
True-
I mean, I'm
true
sure I've
crime.
heard something like that.
Yeah, right.
Like Sword
okay.
and Scale, I would hear stories
So
like
it
that all
wasn't
the
from
time.
me.
Where they like turn on their parents or something.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
all the time, dude. Like parents be the first to go.
those are the bad kids. There's like the
good ones.
You're,
Yeah,
you're
wait,
saying you have a
wait.
serial killer son and he's not a bad
He's
kid?
killing bad guys.
So you would still keep them in your basement and
like
feed them.
Bart Simpson's
Oh, the twin?
stepbrother, the twin. The good
That's
twin.
actually the good one. With us, we always talk about these like theoreticals, but we've
Mhm.
never had any of these like situations come
Yeah.
true, right? Because like for
Yeah.
me, I've had not a son, but I've seen my parents in bad spots.
Mhm.
I had an experience where I had to call the cops on my dad,
Mm.
and that was like rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, I was like, I had to see him get dragged away by the cops, and he looked at me as like, "You did this,"
Oh man.
Oh.
and I was like, "Damn, I can't
Ah.
believe like I was able to do that." But also, I was so young that I didn't really kind of grasp like
Yeah.
how crazy that was. Like I don't know if I would do that now, but also I'm bigger now. I can
Mhm.
stop the guy. He's small. You know what I mean? But back then, I was like, "Shit."
How
dude.
old were you?
Why'd you?
I think I
oh,
was
yeah.
like 14 or 15.
Why'd you call on?
Because so I've talked about this a little bit before. Like my parents were like in a very physically abusive relationship.
Mm.
My mom was the one who usually got physically abused. My mom would do the same with my dad, but she's not nearly as big,
Mhm.
can't really hurt him. And then I think it had been ongoing for like a couple days.
Mhm.
So at this point, my mom was like pretty messed up, and she told me because I noticed because my dad used to work like 16, 17-hour days,
Mm.
and when he would come home super late, that's when he'd be the most mad when things are not good in the house. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you come home and like the house is not super clean or the meal's not ready. He would just be like in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she knew that if he came home, that something might happen.
Yeah.
So she told me, "Hey, can you call the cops on your dad? I'm like afraid for my life."
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "Oh shit, okay, yeah. I mean, if
Mhm.
you're scared for your life, like I gotta make a choice, right?" So that's why I
Yeah.
called them, and I was like, "Yeah, like he might be really aggressive, like he's like hurt her or whatever's."
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, they came. They like scooped him up. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now that's. I was talking to Glover about this. He's like, "Oh, after listening to you on the podcast, I can see why you're against so many things because
Mhm.
you experienced so many
Mhm.
like bad things when you were
Mhm.
younger.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest things was my parents always made me like the mediator between them
Mhm.
when they would argue.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I would always have to do things because they didn't want to tell each other.
Yeah.
They want
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
in direct contact with each other.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
as maybe this is why I lie so much now, but like when I was younger, like I would have
Wait, what?
like I'm very good at telling white lies now.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah.
White lies.
I see. Because
Yeah.
you want to keep the peace.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I've also like I did it when I was like younger too, but I did it. I've mentioned before I was bullied at a younger age, so I could put it on the front. I could tell you that I like you when I don't,
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure you don't kick my
Oh
ass.
my god, why am I here?
Yeah, I could go to job interviews and just be a totally different person.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, like when my parents just like one of the biggest things that I had a hard time doing was like lying to my parents. Like I had such a hard time lying to my parents, and my mom would go on these like gambling binges for like a week, dude. She'd be like gone, like doesn't even come home. Like, I actually didn't even know where she stayed, or she just stayed at the casino the entire time. And my dad, I think it's Bicycle Casino, but my dad would call me and be like, "Is your mom home?" And I'd be like, "No." And he'd be like, "Call this number, ask them for the dragon table or the dragon room."
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's where she would be at, and ask them for Olivia. That's like her name. And then, surely enough, like every time I didn't want to believe that she'd be there. And every time she would pick up, "Yeah, what is it, son?" And then my dad beforehand would, kind of coach me and be like, "Tell him that you're starving. Tell him that you haven't eaten in days because you haven't been home to cook anything." Which is a lie because my dad would give me money for like KFC and, fucking Pizza Hut and stuff. So my childhood was a lot of fast food too, like all delivery, right?
Yeah.
And then she'd be like, "Oh, really? Well, I'll be home. I'll let you know when." And it would be like another day or two. Yeah,
Dang.
yeah. So it was pretty bad back then. It was crazy. I feel like when I finally had a piece of like just calmness in my life was when my parents started gambling together. Because they'd both be gone.
Yeah.
And then they would dress up and they'd be like, "Let's go have fun." And I get to stay up late because they're gone for like 2 days and no one's home.
2 days?
Yeah, they would go out and gamble for like days at a time. And then they come back and they still be happy. But I think, yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like, oh, they love each other enough to do this together.
Yeah.
That was
That's what I
after
thought.
everything.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
after.
cool.
Like it, but then it became sour again.
Oh.
My dad started going back to work because I guess they started losing money. Like,
Yeah.
how are we gonna gamble?
Because of gambling, yeah.
Yeah, because they're out of money. And it would just, it just never let off. It never went away.
It's more like a Band-Aid then.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like I'm still going through that today. Like my parents have really enough gone back their gambling habits. Like I don't know how that happened, but
They what?
they've gained back their
Oh,
gambling
really?
habits. Yeah.
Because they stopped, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, to my knowledge, like during the pandemic, my dad started going again, and we had to lend him some money. At first I thought it was for work, and then someone told me, I forget who. They're like, "I think Dad's been like gambling." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Oh, he hasn't been home
Yeah.
for like a day." Like, that's true. Like, where is he going to work at? At like 3 a.m. And then someone was like, "Oh, it was my stepmom." So my stepmom was like, "I think he's gambling. I don't know what to do." She started breaking down and crying. I was like, "Wow." And I didn't know what to do because I had already experienced this. It was my first rodeo. So, I was like, I know it comes with like heartbreak. I'm
Yeah.
kind of like prepped for it. Like it destroyed my parents' like marriage. And to her, she's like new to this. She don't know any of this stuff. The past, she's never experienced it. So I was just like, it's right. Let me try to like figure it out. So like I grabbed his phone one day and I was like, "Oh, have you installed this new app?" And I added him on like Find My iPhone,
oh,
Find My Friends.
nice.
And then I would see his name pop up at all these casinos like when he's gone. Like if it's like past 11, I'll like check. I know this dude don't work past 10 anymore. So I would see it and I'd be like, "Hey, you can't be gambling like this. You got kids." You know what I mean? Like my little brother's like 16, 17. It's like you gotta be home for him, and he's older. You can't be gone for days, dude. Like it just doesn't work. And it's still like something that plagues us. It's not an easy thing to talk about because like it's their choice to stop. Like, it's hard to tell them no, and they still won't listen. It doesn't matter, And then eventually, weirdly enough, my mom got into it. And I'm like, "Wow, holy crap. You just told me to tell your dad to not gamble." And here she is in the casinos too.
Your stepmom or your mom?
My real mom.
Oh, so she got back to it again.
Yeah, she got back to it again. And I deal with that too. And I let her borrow money because she told me it was for work. And then one day she was supposed to help me with something. She never showed up. I called her all day. She always picks up. And I was like, "Oh, that's weird." Like I started getting worried that something had happened to her. So I texted my little brother, Alex, my half brother. He's like 17. And I was like, "Yo, you know where mom is? Like, I haven't like heard from her." And he's like, "Oh, she hasn't been home in days."
Oh.
And then that's when I knew, I was like, "Where do you think she is?" And he's like, "Yeah, she's probably gone gambling." And I was like, "Holy shit." So then I called my mom. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Finally, when she picked up, "What are you doing?" "So I hang out with my friends." I'm like, "Oh, where are you hanging out with your friends?" He's like, "Oh, just hang out with them." "Okay, but where?" And she's like, why do I need to tell you?" I was like, "Because you're gambling, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm just having fun with it." I was like, "But you're gambling while you're low on money. You're borrowing your kids' money. Like, this is not okay, And ever since then, she said she'd be better. I don't track her, so I can't tell. I don't live with her either, so I can't tell what she's doing. But I do ask my little brother, and I think that's hard for him because just like my stepmom, he had never experienced that. He doesn't know what to do. And the difference was I was with my younger brother and sister at the time. I had siblings to like fall back on. Like he really doesn't, like we don't live with him. So it's kind of like tough. I'm still figuring this out as we go, but
Damn.
So he's going to have a similar experience then to what you did?
yeah. I think hopefully not as rough. My mom is a single mom now. So it's he won't see like the physical abuse side, but he will see like parents telling white lies, and starting to pick up on these things like, oh yeah, I'm just hanging out with friends. As a kid, I probably was like, oh, okay. But he's a kid. And I called him. And he said, Mom's probably gambling. So he already knows.
Do you think that you have a gambling problem?
I don't think I have a gambling problem. I think only when I'm in Vegas, to be honest. Because outside of Vegas, I don't really gamble. I don't do anything. I don't drive to go gamble. I don't make my way out of things to go gamble.
Or like take loans from friends and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, actually, in Vegas, I do that. In Vegas, I'm always like,
You see Kenny's post?
yeah. In
I
Vegas,
thought
I'm
you
like,
lost money.
yeah. Well, that one's a little different. I would Venmo him every time I would, borrow money. But back then, I would be like, hey, can you get $200, whatever. So I don't know if it's in my blood or not. That'd be kind of weird.
I think it's a little in your blood. Like a little dash.
It's a little
A
sprinkle,
little
sprinkle.
like parsley.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm curious about that. I wish I knew like a psychologist who could tell me.
Yeah, I think I heard from my friend, they're Vietnamese too, that like it's actually in the community where it's a pretty sensitive topic, like gambling addiction.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like kind of pervasive in that community where it's a lot of people do gamble, huh?
Yeah, and I wish people would talk about it more because it is like an issue,
Yeah.
especially if you have kids.
Yeah.
Oh God, dude. And like anyone who hears this, man, like if you're going through it, talk about it with your family because that's the only support you're gonna get. I mean, from your friends too, but and it needs to be talked about for sure.
Yeah, because I know like you and a lot of your friends do it, but only when you get together. You know?
Yeah.
And
It's a
funny,
little
it's
more like responsible. And
I don't
fun.
even gamble when I get together with my friends most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually the person who usually sits out. Or I
Yeah.
tried to quit. And
Try to.
And then one of my friends was like, you got to get back on. You took like $1,000 from me. How can you leave, Henry?
You gotta know when to leave.
Yeah, you got to know when to leave. But it's hard when he's like, hey, you can't take $1,000 to hit and run me. Oh, yeah.
But then you keep playing and then you lose it all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's how it works, dude. That's gambling.
So if any of you guys gambling out there need money, ask Peter for money.
yeah, definitely. The guy who doesn't have money.
Or gamble against it.
yeah, gamble against you. That's how you win your money.
Let's talk about our goals for the next year.
Oh yeah.
Would you guys like to start? Let's do personal goals and let's do
Okay.
goals
Ooh.
for the podcast.
How
Okay,
about
cool.
let's do what we want to see for each other? Like,
Oh, okay, so all three of those then sound good.
Then I'll start for myself. Personal goals for myself. Next year, I want to buy 2 new properties. I want to write a book.
Ooh.
I want to make my business even more smooth, run more smoothly, and I'd like to travel a little more, and find love.
Hey. Actually, that was actually gonna be one of my goals for you. Is like I want to see Mario fall in love, be in a healthy relationship.
That's not a goal though. That's like a wish.
Well, I mean, it's only wish because it's not my. I can't make a goal for him. You know what I mean? So I guess in a
Yeah.
way, a wish is
Okay,
a goal
so
for
will
another
we like
person.
wish for the other
Yeah, yeah,
person?
yeah,
or,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
reach?
yeah.
What if we did what if we did like a dating episode for Mario? Guys
Ah,
that
let's
date.
do it.
Guys that date.
Oh my
Guys
god,
that date. For
5
an
girls
episode.
and just-
dude, that'd be awesome. How about we do? Hey, since Mario says he wants to do so many and organize them
friends?
one day, we'll just line like 10 girls up, speed date them. Oh my god.
We'll add this in the potential ideas.
No, that's a goal for next year.
Yeah, there
That'd
we
be
go.
so fun. I'm
That's
thinking about all
good,
the
good.
decorations.
That's good.
All right,
good.
my
In
goals.
February.
The goals I see for you guys, Ariel, a baby, and then
Whoa!
So you roll.
I saw I saw that text he sent you
Oh my god.
The what?
The
when she was holding the
text.
baby.
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
like, you got me feeling some type of way.
Yeah,
He didn't want kids. Remember you guys talked about that?
Yeah, I
Adrian
do.
was never the type to want kids. And I told him straight, I was like, you better fucking find out. I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, figure it
It's
out.
definitely not something I like didn't put too much thought in. Like it was more like I was leaning towards like not really caring for marriage, and kids is like beyond my comprehension because I'm still trying to get myself in order.
Mhm.
But then yeah, as time went on and I met Ariel and stuff, those questions those questions you start to really have to ask yourself.
I think a good woman can change your perspective on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Oh dang!
yeah, that's the goal. Oh, Peter.
I think that ship. I've been saying that for years. I think that ship sailed.
Because I'm not gonna lie, 'cause we were We were like, we talk about that a lot. Like,
Yeah, we did.
And then I was like, yeah, I'm with you, Peter. And then give me like a month. I'm sorry, Peter, I'm out of here.
I'm on Mario's side now.
Adrian, for you, I see you starting your channel again as one of your goals, for you. And I see you expanding your skills and abilities in this whole field. And also, building up a clientele from people that we get to interact with every day.
Cheers to that.
Peter, for you, I see Feel Good, your streaming, your houses, everything else that you're working on to start to become more into fruition, to start really become where it should be. I see all that happening for you. And, maybe stop gambling and then as one of your goals. And maybe now I think you're ready to, stop being celibate.
We'll let somebody else decide that for you.
Hey, you can't do it without consent, man.
I mean, I meant with consent, sir.
No, he meant his.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
He was.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, my bad. You're right.
Okay, personal goals. I want to be better as like a well-rounded person. I want to think more about I just want to be more thoughtful towards other people and see how I can improve myself and trying to be there better, not more and better for friends, family, and just being more aware about the people that I love and consider close and
Yeah, that's
I like that.
and then for you guys, I can't come up with goals that for you guys. More just why I see. Can I
That works.
sum up a good part of you? I guess. Okay, Mario, I see you. I've seen you. Remember when we went rock climbing?
Yeah.
So you picked up a phone call and you had a really upset client, and I just saw your business side for one side, and I really liked that.
Oh,
yeah.
thanks.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I was like,
I don't even
you were
remember.
talking, and I was like, damn, it's pretty cool.
I know. The customer service.
Yeah, the customer service is A1.
Hey, this is Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're yeah, you guys, you can hit that one. Hi. Yeah, no, this is Mario.
Yeah, he's like, I am
He was
so
on
sorry
it.
about that. I apologize. We're gonna get that
Yeah.
fixed for you right away. I will come in personally and vacuum that
Yeah.
myself.
Take my personal phone number. Don't call anyone else.
Oh,
You can just
yeah.
call straight up me. Here's my number.
Mario brings in another guy named Mario. Not him.
My dad?
You make your dad work.
For you,
Bro, I want to hear this one.
I like.
Don't drink so fast, bro.
She makes it seem so hard.
There's just so many to choose from. Fuck, what is my thing? You're very ambitious and you're very determined, and I see a lot. You're very critical about yourself. That's good.
I like that.
Because you always try to find ways and to better yourself. But sometimes it's bad because you get into your head. I'm just
Yeah,
you're
that's true.
fine. You're cool. You cool.
Yeah. You cool.
We don't
You're
sin.
good people.
No, we don't sin. We don't really like PDA and
Yeah,
stuff.
he can simp in private. Not like Peter over here.
What the
You're
hell?
the biggest PDA I've ever seen.
Wait, really?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Oh,
way.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
the biggest.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest,
Oh.
the biggest. This dude was straight be we'll be. Let's say me and you. Let's say after we went just
Yeah.
at lunch or something, or
Uh-huh.
we're rock climbing
We'll be
and
like
stuff.
this.
Uh-huh.
And no,
Like
no, more. Y'all straight be making out. We'll be mid
Oh,
conversation,
what?
and y'all just start making out right in front of me, and I'm like,
Whoa.
I'm not saying anything.
'Cause
to you,
it's
so I believe it.
to be fair, you've kind of always been like that.
I've
Oh,
always
really?
been like that.
Like he's been
Wow.
he straight up make out in front of you. He'll have sex in another room right next to you.
Hey,
you're just
yo.
That's not PDA at that point.
This is voyeurism.
That's
That's TMI.
get a hand job right next to you. I'm like,
All
all right.
Whoa.
Hey.
My favorite form of PDA.
Dude, my friends just admitted that a trip from 4 years ago. They're like, remember when you fell asleep there? I was like, yeah. Huh?
No.
Why? They were fucking on the couch.
Oh,
Right
my
next
I
to
was
you?
sleeping on the floor.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
Jesus
And they were
Christ.
fucking on the couch.
The love couch.
But I'm
Wait.
so glad I slept through that.
Wait.
If I woke up mid, I'm like,
You just pretend to be asleep. Like, oh my god.
Why did we tell you that so
I
far down
don't-
the line?
It's better.
I
Yeah,
You
it's
know
way
what?
And
better.
then
Fine,
doing
that's
it
fine.
right the next day or some shit.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you know
Okay,
when you
yeah.
were asleep last night?
No,
We were fucking.
For Peter, you're ambitious too.
Mm-hmm.
You always like have these ideas and they're flowing through you. And then you're really successful with your business too.
That's all right.
I see all those numbers show up on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Like when you close. Oh wait, sometimes you block them out though, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, but there's always green.
Yeah, it does well. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not what I want. I'm not quite there, you
But
know.
I feel like
but
you're always growing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I hope so.
But for you guys as hosts, you guys have gotten really good at like going back and forth with your guests. And then I feel like if you kind of sense, like, you know, like when you're talking to someone, you can feel something. I feel like you catch up on that. And then you guys kind of address it.
Oh, I feel that right now. What is Adrian's fetish?
All right, so personal goals for myself. Keep gymming. You know, I've
Oh,
been
nice.
on top
Why
of
did
it.
I think Jim, J-I-M? I was like, who's gymming?
Gym helper. No.
Adrian's built different.
Yeah, no, I want to keep it up with the gym. Just because the gym taught me a lot about like discipline and consistency and building like good habits. And that's like really bled into all other aspects of my life, you know?
All of a sudden, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Because
I wonder who introduced you.
Yeah, it's Ariel who got me into it, you know? She got me back into it.
Damn.
I'm not even that fit.
She got me into like pre-workout. Maybe it's really the pre-workout.
It's probably the
It is
pre-workout.
Let's fucking go.
crack, dude. It's crack.
It's amazing though, like to really see the progress,
Yeah.
you know, over time and to see like it's actually getting somewhere. Even the days where I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to do it, but you go. It's the same thing where I'm like, fuck yeah, I don't want to edit it, but I do it, you know? You know? I want to keep doing that for myself, building like clientele, continuing to build my skills like I always have, but now at a bigger scale too, you know, especially the new experiences I've gotten by being on GTL, you know, meeting new people, meeting new types of formats to work with and stuff. Those are like really, I think, the two main focuses. And also, of course, continuing to be in a loving relationship.
I guess Ariel's the one who doesn't simp.
I really don't. Did you see my face? I get shy. It's not that I don't like you. I like you. I do.
But for you guys, for Mario, yeah, I think I'm bored with Peter's the whole dating thing, you know? To see what comes your way that will actually be enough challenge for you. I think that's been the challenge for you was, you know, wanting someone who can match your energy, but not just match, go beyond it to make you feel as though you're inferior.
Yeah, how'd you know?
I know. 'Cause he said, I want to feel insecure.
I do.
There might be
Mario turns out to be a
some-
cuck.
There might be a girl that makes you think that way. Don't be closed off. I don't know.
Oh, I'm
Who
never
knows?
closed off.
Who knows?
He
Who
wants.
knows?
No,
he
that's what I
welcomes
want.
that.
Oh,
He
I do.
welcomes it, yeah. Because he's on top of the
Like,
world.
yeah, bring it
Living
on.
my best life.
Yeah. For you, it's of course, you know, school and like maybe your other creative journeys that you want to pursue eventually.
Don't have any.
You know, I think you got a lot of potential with all those. So,
Yay.
and also
Thanks.
continuing to be in a loving
You're like, please love me back.
Adrian's trying to seal the deal right now.
We should do like another year, right? A year's cool.
Hey, shake on it now. Shake on it now.
Contractual,
It's like one more
contractual.
year, right, babe?
And for Pete, you know, what we shared earlier, I hope that is something that you can overcome, you know, with you and your family and your personal gambling addiction. No, but of course to overcome that with your fam and have a more loving relationship with all of them, you know.
Yeah.
And then for both of you, like, as like GTL goes on, to really, you know, see that it's gonna be a business eventually, and that's going to be a lot tougher, you know, like, because there's gonna be a lot of moving parts that are gonna start coming in more. You're gonna need more manpower, more money, and more time. And I know, like, you run 3 businesses. This is gonna be your 4th one eventually, you know. But you have a great partner here, and it's good because you guys are good partners because you guys don't agree on everything, but you respect that, you know. And hopefully that continues to evolve as it goes on.
I like when you guys bicker.
Yeah, because
It's not even like even in any harsh way. It's more just like seeing two different opinions,
Yeah.
and then just building off of that.
Right, like a challenging conflict that doesn't break down into like petty fighting, which is what a lot of relationships should be like,
Because I think Peter and our foundations are pretty similar. Like, we're both very kind of calm, really chill guys.
Shut
I think we are both pretty mellow though. Like, we're both pretty calm and
no,
stuff.
for sure.
So a lot of our our base is kind of similar. As you start to stray away in different opinions and stuff, though, we have our own different ideas and perceptions. There's stuff I do better, there's stuff you do better. I'll rely on you in something, you can rely on me in something else, and like we might have a different opinion. But okay, obviously we're on the same team. We're trying to get the same result. We want this to be successful. There's a way to resolve this conflict.
Yeah, sounds like a healthy relationship.
They're like, wait, are we each other's?
Maybe.
He's been right in front of me all along.
Maybe.
Personal goals, I think, for me would be, I think I would want GTL to grow a lot next year, and I would want to learn how to grow with it and everything else that I do. Like, I love like improving, I love figuring out what we do better all the time, and I just don't feel like I do that very efficiently right now. But next year, I really want to be really good at it. As far as other stuff, like, I want all my businesses to do well. I want Feel Good to be international. I want us to have events all over the world, possibly a festival.
Damn.
Like, that's what I would want for that. And as far as personal as a human being, not to be cliche, but I would like a six-pack. I'm just kidding.
Go to the gym with Adrian.
Oh,
Go to the gym with us. Do my ab workout.
Yeah, I gotta hit you up for that.
Yeah.
But personal, I think the main thing is just growing as a person and better, like learning how to be more outspoken about things I know is right. So I'm decent at that now. I can speak up about a lot of things that I feel like is wrong and I feel like needs to change. But there's some things in my very personal life that I have still a hard time addressing. Very similar to how I talked about my parents, but sometimes with my friends too. I've come to realize that if your idea or your intent is to be the voice of reason and you just want the best for them, it's okay to just let them know. Because I'm more of a person where I'm going to let you live your life, but sometimes maybe it's okay if your friend talks to you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be like that.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I want to be better at, being open about that. Yeah, because honestly, I get a little nervous when it comes to stuff like that.
I think
confrontation, right?
Yeah, confrontation, but sometimes it's not even like a thing that affects me directly. It's just something that I think is just specific to the person. So, for instance, I talked to Jude this year, and I was like, "You always tell me that you want to DJ for Do Over, for Coachella, and all these things, and I think you have the potential to do it. And I wouldn't fault you for not trying if you didn't tell me these things or other people. I'd be like, if you just want to DJ for a couple of venues locally, that's fine. But if you want to grow and become bigger, and that's something that you actually are passionate about, I'm going to let you know that right now you currently need to do a little bit more work. Right? And usually I'll just kind of let them learn. But as time goes on, I just feel like if I don't say anything and they don't grow out of it, then I'm like, well, I'm at fault for it. I know, you can't make anyone do something, but sometimes a little bit of insight goes a long way.
I think that you just saying something or like reaching out goes to show how much you care about them.
Yeah.
They'll feel like, oh, they had the energy or like enough. It was enough for them to feel like they should approach me. Like that says something.
Yeah.
It shows you care.
Yeah.
But it shows you care, but at the time when it's being said, a lot of people will probably get maybe defensive or feel hurt.
Yeah.
And I say that because I've been like that, from experience. Because sometimes I'll have to hear it, and your instinctual feeling is like
Defensive.
you're like you're clenching your fist like you don't know shit, but like maybe they do know.
I get that.
Yeah.
And it's
I think
like
it comes from a place of love, though.
Yeah.
And hopefully he can see that. Because I know what you mean. Like, random people tell me, like, oh, like, who's your favorite DJ or who's really talented? And they're always like, oh, Jude is super good,
Yeah.
And if he really, like, does tell you that stuff, like, obviously he like wants to be that. Like I can see why you would feel that way. We're like, okay, then do more. You know, try harder. You know, like what are you really doing? You know, why not do this? Why not do that?
Yeah.
So
That's the Mario approach.
You're not wrong.
And actually, Jude told me he was like, I actually needed to hear that.
Yeah.
Aw.
So
Some people do
Nice.
need to hear it. Some people take it offensively.
yeah,
It's okay.
yeah. And I think it goes back to, you know, like episodes ago, I have a hard time saying certain things because I feel people take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I can say certain things because I'm like adamant on this specific change about business or something like that. But when it comes to personal things, I have a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it has to do with me and how people, you know, like
Because you feel like
misconstrued why I say.
because you feel like you're interjecting yourself in their lives
Yeah.
when you're not really helping.
Yeah.
Not really helping, but like, you know, it's not yours to really like
But at the
live.
same time, you're their friend. You are part of their lives.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You have
Yeah.
some kind
Yeah.
of say and try
Yeah.
and figure out that balance, that demon in me telling me not to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little difficult. Like I've held my breath long enough, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but,
like I had a former mentor tell me, like, if you keep doing what you're doing, because I wanted to like do YouTube
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all that. He was like, "You're gonna fail."
Mhm.
Like straight out to my face was like, and I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks, dude." Thanks, bro.
yeah,
appreciate
that's,
you.
that's definitely tough to hear. And I think, it just goes back to learning how to say it the best that you can.
Yeah,
Because sometimes it doesn't matter how you say it.
Yeah.
People will, you know, misunderstand it.
yeah, I agree. Sometimes you have to time it.
Yeah.
Because, like, even when he told me that, it did nothing for me. It just hurt me.
Yeah.
You know, it really
Yeah.
did. It only hurt me. Like sometimes it's funny because I always made the joke. I always make this joke because rappers always make this like, you know, like speech when, you know, when I was a kid in high school, my teacher said I would never amount to anything, and look at me now. And I always make the joke, like, I wish somebody told me that when I was young, so I would have the resilience to prove them wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
And then somebody tells me that, but I've been like my adult years, I'm like, hey, fuck you.
My feelings are hurt now.
Yeah, what the hell? You should have done this 10 years ago.
Yeah. And other than that, just like having a good relationship with like my family, the people that I care about, and just again, you know, same thing, just opening up. I think
Yeah.
that's my main thing next year. But aside from me, I would want Mario to date someone that he, you know, really loves, someone taller than him, so she could look down on him.
About the height.
Do you want someone taller or
No, I don't
shorter?
want- I prefer shorter.
Okay, shorter then. But then she would have to look up to you. You see, it's a little different.
Oh, right. Hey, she's got to make you feel inferior and
Yeah,
everything.
she gotta make you feel small.
I mean, not the height.
Yeah, but like, something true for him, you know. And I think like it's funny because if you look at the podcast and the way it works and our dynamic, we mirror each other inversely, right? And what I mean by that is like Mario is the kind that wants to get married and wants to be in a loving relationship like long term, but he finds all these short relationships that like, but there's a lot. You know what I mean? And I'm the opposite, where I'm like, let me run through these hoes, but where they at, right?
Well, where are they at?
Here, all I find are wifeys. Like, where the hell?
4 year, 5 year, 10
Yeah.
year.
It's kind of crazy, but it's like weird how we get like the opposite.
Wait,
way
so
we're
you know what
looking
you need to do is the girls you guys both
swap
like,
'em.
swap them. Yeah, you like that's the one I'm
for.
interested in.
I'd love to be his
Just go,
Eskimo
on
brother.
just go on a quadruple date. Oh wait, double date. Oh my god, I
Do it.
go on a double
Yeah,
date.
that could be one of the episodes too, right?
That'd
Speed
be-
dating for both of you. The ones you guys do like
boy.
switch.
Switch at the end.
Dude.
Oh, so
Oh,
we had-
dude,
we
they
had
call me
such a great
speed
time.
date switch.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
had such a great time tonight, but you're gonna go with him.
Yeah, trust me. We don't
Whoa,
trust.
what a
It'll
wild
work out for
idea.
us in the
that's
end.
Kinda, that's kind of wild, dude. And aside from that, obviously, I want his business to do well. But I think that's not really like one of the main wishes that I want for him because I feel like he does well without it.
Yeah.
Like he's at a level where it's like he could do better, but it doesn't. I feel like the real needle for him is gonna be finding something that's like super fulfilling for him.
Yeah.
To seek as a business, and I think like how you said, this might be a business in the future or soon coming. I think that might be one of the things. Not because I'm part of it or anything like that, but I think as we grow through the show. You know, because I'm learning so much about other people, but I learn about myself too. I feel like that's the same way of Mario, and I think that's gonna lead him to like finding that person that kind of like resonates with him more.
I think so
And
too.
maybe in a way that he never would have thought to. I think that's gonna
Right.
be. I think this is my call. This is not a wish. This is a prediction.
This- yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
He's
it's a
gonna
bold
end up
prediction.
with a girl who is most likely not like what he describes her to be.
Yeah.
in his dreams.
Right.
Like it's gonna be a girl that's like, whoa, she's completely different than what you would have said that you would fell for. You know, I think that's what's
Yeah.
gonna happen. For Ariel, I want her to find like a balance because I feel like with the amount of stress you're going through for school now, you go straight into work, you probably get put in a lot of hours. And I think the balance between you and Adrian, and also like the things you love doing, like hiking, exploring, traveling,
I miss
to be tough. So
hiking.
I want that for you, like
Thank
to find
you.
that.
Yeah.
I
Balance.
do miss camping.
That work-life
yeah.
balance.
I mean, no such thing, but like more balance, you know,
Yeah.
as much as you can. I feel like.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's what I like for Ariel. For Adrian, very similar. Like I would like for his show to start. I would like for him to find his strengths in certain aspects of his show that he feels like this
Yeah.
is what he could do, but also find a team that could like help him with everything else. Because I think being a one-man team can be very lonely.
Yeah.
And I see how you function in this group, and I see like how bright you are when you're like around people, and you're just a people person when you're in your zone, in your environment, you know. And
Thank
I
you.
want you to find that environment.
That's true.
He's
Yeah.
not lonely. He's in a loving relationship.
Yeah, of course. And then I
can
want
throw-
Ariel to stay with for at least another year.
I've been throwing like hella ideas for like just YouTube.
Yeah.
stuff.
That's a good point.
Stupid
though.
stuff too.
He's right, because I do want to do everything. It's
Yeah.
similar to like your best friend Brian. Like I want to do everything, not because I'm like critical or anal, like because I love doing all of it. And I do want it a certain way, but like, yeah, I guess that's a good point. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Because I think like at one point you're gonna be the strongest in the things that you're strong in, and then you're gonna want other people to really help elevate everything else,
yeah.
right? And you're just gonna be at a point where you're like, all right, I need someone, and this person compliments me, not in a way that their work is just good, but I enjoy working with them, and that's difficult to find.
Yeah.
So I would like for you to find that.
I can
I'ma keep
work
that
with
in
you
mind.
and help you on your YouTube channel.
Yeah. there we go.
That was fun, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for sticking with us this entire year. Thank you for listening to this episode. We hope to bring you guys even better episodes in the future.
Keep giving us feedback. Keep
Yeah.
giving us that constructive criticism, even the hate. You
Yep.
know,
We love
Mario
that.
loves that.
Yep. Appreciate all you guys, and honestly, we're having a blast doing this. We definitely look forward to doing more, meeting amazing people, not just the people on the podcast, but people outside of it. We've met a lot of people outside who've talked to us about this podcast, and it's been great. It's been nothing but a blessing, really. And we hope to do you guys proud. We'll be a lot further along than we were this year. Just take this year as a trial run. Next year is going to be bigger and better for sure. And any sponsors? Hit us up, please.
Money sponsors.
Any sponsors.
We got the food sponsors.
We got the food.
All right, Ariel, you want to sign us off?
And remember,
Live fast, eat ass.